All right, good morning, everybody. It is 27 degrees. We're going to say a mix of clouds and sun right now in Barrie. Anyway, it is it's a chilly morning. And welcome to the Friday. TGIF, third of the month. Brian Carten is a man that so many know, who has done so much and with dogs. And many of us know that Brian Carten has been involved with Therapy Dogs Vermont for a million years, and he's sitting right next to me. And, well, first off, good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
I'm so glad you're here.
It's nice to be here.
You have a dog with you that's just off camera and just a little bit. Well, yeah, I mean, you do whatever you. There we go. We got her head. This is Wilma. This is Wilma. And we have a lot to talk about. Wilma is English Mastiffs is the dog of choice for Brian Carten. That's what you love. That's what you know. That's what you specialize in. You know English Mastiffs probably better than you know yourself.
They know me better than I know myself.
Ooh, good answer. Ooh. My man, this is so awesome that you're here. You've been on the podcast with me in the past. It's been a long time, but we've always stayed in touch. I've had you with the Cause for Paws Pet Expo that I put on. We've stayed in touch over the years, and you have visited not only my mom and dad's nursing home right here in Barrie, but you've been to skilled nursing facilities and hospitals with therapy dogs for how many years now?
8. Has it been 8?
Wow.
But unfortunately, not at the moment. I
Yeah.
did lose Fred. Had that freak. He had a freak accident.
Yeah. So
We don't know.
We have Wilma with us.
We have Wilma.
What happened with Fred?
Fred I'm a little bit loopy, as I said. Forgive me.
Yes, because you haven't had much sleep, and we're going to talk about the reasons behind that.
And so Fred passed in June. Was it June 11th? I think it was July 11th.
Of this past.
Had a freak accident in the back. We believe in the backyard. We believe ruptured a disc in his spine, and it shut down his back end, shut down his kidneys, his bladder. Yeah, it was 5 visits to 3 different hospitals, and unfortunately it just wasn't enough. Ended up at Bev's in the ICU. It just wasn't enough. So yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I miss him. He was a good dog. Yeah, he did some amazing stuff. He really did.
And then there was another
Judson.
And
Judson was prior to Fred, so Judson was my first therapy dog.
And I think most people, fair to say, that most people might remember Judson more than anyone.
I don't know. Well,
he was the rock star.
He was the rock star, but then Fred did stuff that no other dog had done. Judson was the first one allowed. We did all the. We were doing the hospital. We were doing the nursing homes. Judson was the first dog allowed in the emergency room.
Yeah.
Fred followed, but then Judson did a lot of work in the school system.
Yeah.
But then Fred was the first dog in the courtroom. And the murder trial there for the 5 kids, unfortunately, remember the one the wrong way accident.
Yes.
The intentional wrong way on 89. Was no accident there.
Who was Fred there for?
A couple of the
family members.
The siblings requested that he go, and the judge approved it. And so we would walk in the courtroom, and Fred would sit down, the kids would disappear and literally onto the floor with the dog, and and I sat through the trial. And then it was interesting because the state police were there, first responders, and Fred worked with a lot of them as well.
Both of those dogs, Fred and Judson, were so well known. What is it that happens? And I don't think any of us know. I think as humans we maybe have possibly a pretty good idea, but maybe we don't know the full impacts that animals, as a broad stroke here, animals in general have on human brains, but also music and the impacts that each of these things can do to the human brain. They awaken certain neurons and I don't know what the terminology is.
Interesting how you bring music into that.
It's music and animals.
It's interesting you brought that into that.
They do things. They awaken areas of our brain which are essentially dormant, and they bring us endorphins and joy. They release chemicals. I don't think I mean, clearly I don't know, because listen to me right now, but there's an impact that we can't fully explain, and you know it because you've seen it countless times when you have brought your dogs into courtrooms, hospitals, emergency rooms, I think you just said, skilled nursing facilities, people who have Alzheimer's. What happens to people? I mean, it's amazing.
It is amazing. And I get to for me, I get to observe it, but I get to detach myself from it and just, you know what I mean? Those people don't care I'm there.
Of course they don't.
Yeah.
It's all about the dog.
It's all about the dog. Like it doesn't matter that I'm there. It doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people revert,
Sure.
to the little kid type thing around the dog, and they don't care that I'm there. So it's really cool that I get to observe it. And I've observed it, even though the number of times that you observe it, it never gets old. And there's always something new. There's always a new experience because every human's different.
Yeah.
And every experience, be it palliative care, nursing home, Alzheimer's, everybody is different. Every situation is different. So
do you ever get kids, or anyone for that matter, that is like, Brian, if you're doing the whole therapy dog thing, then why are you picking such a giant dog, which may be physically intimidating? Do you ever get a look on someone's face like, holy crap, what's coming down the hallway right now?
You get some interesting looks. You do. You get a lot of interesting remarks. But to that point there, Judson and Fred, much bigger than her, we've done quite a bit of work with kids that were actually afraid of dogs. And they are much calmer with a big dog that is quiet and calm than they are with a yippy little.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
But then
That's amazing.
But it's just, this is coming to love where the yippy is yip, 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 and the kid doesn't, the child or the person who doesn't like dogs takes that as aggression. And the dog may not be aggressive, but if you don't like the dog's barking at you, then you're gonna. Does that make sense?
Well, of course it does.
So when these guys come in, and I get a lot of people that, well, actually, I've done. You'll go into the nursing homes, you go into the facility, the hospital, whatever, and it's the person who's in the corner that when you walk in, the eyes light up and they're like, "Oh!"
Yeah.
After a couple of minutes, they're the one that's sitting next to the dog the most.
Isn't that amazing? They're gentle giants.
They're gentle giants, and they get it. I think they really get it. They do. They know what's going on. They can sense the emotion in the room.
Yeah,
for sure, absolutely. I've seen situations like, I remember. I've seen some brutal situations. I remember Harwood walking into there when that just happened, and it happened the night before, and they just telling the kids, and we were just good. We were actually heading to Woodridge. See, I'm loopy here.
Yeah, it's all right.
I haven't slept since November 2nd much, but we'll get into that. So yeah, and I remember just walking into that room in Harwood, and there was a circle of kids, 20 kids or whatever, and staff, and Judson walked into the room, and they were holding hands, and he lied down, and but he looked back at me. We walked in the room, and the first thing he did was he just gave me this look. You know what I mean? He looked at me, and he just lied down, and I think I counted 14 kids touching him at once. See, that's the good of a big dog, because spread the love.
Wow.
So, but you know what I mean? So, I've watched Judson walk into certain rooms and Fred too, and they just give you a look. They understand.
They know what's going on.
They know what's going on.
They sense sadness.
They sense
pain.
I think a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we all get that.
Sure.
It's like when you're at home, you're in a bad, you're not in a great mood. It's the first thing the dog does. It comes, sits,
Yeah.
if you're not feeling good, at least if you've got a good dog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's, you know
So
what I'm saying? All
remarkable.
dogs are good. I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean? They do. They come and, I mean, her, she just wants love. Like, she knows there's somebody here that's she's going to love her
Yeah,
even more.
I remember my dad in his nursing home. I remember Judson getting up on the bed with him.
It was Fred. It
Or
would have been
Fred?
Fred would stand. Fred could do that. Judson was not.
All right, it's all Fred, and he did it again with
Your
my mom.
I have a picture there.
I have it too. It's amazing, and my mom had ALS. She wasn't able to use her arms. She was paralyzed, but we were able to lift her arm up and allow her to stroke Fred's head.
And he was big enough where he could do that and just put his head there.
Yeah, and he was just so amazing. I mean, it's just such a profound experience. And the fact that you've been doing this for so long, and then, I mean, look at the sweatshirt you're wearing, Ta-Kum-Ta. Tell me about that and in incorporating the dogs into that.
That's how I got into camp. I went up there actually with Judson, Albie, and Patty Lewis, great people from locally, had been hounding me for years to come be part of camp. And I went up. Therapy dogs are one of the only outside groups that's allowed in there during that camp week. And I went up during that with Judson, and one thing led to another. And the dogs come up every year, and the kids absolutely love it. It's huge.
Are you still doing that?
I'm still part of camp, yes. But unfortunately, we didn't. Last 2 years have been
With COVID and everything. Yeah.
And we're really, really, really hoping we're back next year.
Yeah.
We're really
The
hoping.
kids must freak when they see these dogs.
They love them. We're usually at the pool. It's always at the pool, rather, I should say. And that's when the dogs come in and they hang out with the kids. And it's only for a couple hours.
Yeah.
You know, but it has an impact.
Wow.
And but camp is amazing. Camp is just absolutely amazing.
That's something else. And Raylene is here, and she's a huge fan of the English Mastiff.
But owns the exact opposite.
But yes, and I'm still trying to understand why she has the Shih Tzus when she loves the English Mastiff. But maybe it's listen, if you're gonna have a dog like this, you got to have a house that's pretty good size.
No, you know what?
Or you need to be single.
Do you?
I don't know.
No, actually, these are phenomenal family dogs.
Where do they sleep?
Wherever they want. They actually. Well, it all depends. You know what I mean? Do your Shih Tzus sleep in the bed with you?
Oh, yeah.
See?
Oh yeah.
So, and I actually none of my Mastiffs do now. Fred used to.
Fred
used to. But you know what? You know what it's
and
like.
you're a big dude.
Yeah, but you know what it's like.
How tall are you?
I'm only 6 foot, but 6 foot, I'm like 205. But Fred lying next to me.
Yeah.
And you know when a dog dreams and runs in his sleep, you know, and he's 210 pounds, he moves you off the bed.
Oh my
God,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So they don't sleep in the bed with me as much anymore. But always like I've been on the couch. You know, I have puppies. All right, the cat's out of the bag. 2 litters, November 2nd and November 7th was 11. Wilma had 11. She now has 9. We lost 2. And Josie had 12, and we lost 1, unfortunately. So, but I still have 20 puppies on the ground.
I was just going to say, hold up a second here. You have 20 English
Mastiff puppies on the ground. Yeah,
in your house.
Yeah, we. Well, you know, when the girls come in. Well, actually, there's only 18 in the house because there's 2 here.
What? Did you really bring 2 with you?
Yeah, I have Bam Bam, who is my new male, who's going to be. He's my goal to get him to be a therapy dog, and the girl as well, Daphne. I think this is Daphne and Bam Bam.
Daphne and Bam Bam, and the mother is Wilma.
This is Wilma. Okay.
No.
Okay, so here's. So this is Daphne. Hi.
Oh.
She'll be 5 weeks on Tuesday.
Can you bring her a little closer to the camera? Oh my God.
Okay, yeah, and that's Daphne.
Look.
And so yeah, she'll be 5 weeks. We weighed them. She's what, 6.5 pounds? I think she is right now, like 6.2.
Lily wants one for Christmas.
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
So is Lulu.
And
Have you talked with Sherilyn about this?
Lulu told me.
Yeah, but they get bigger.
They do get bigger. And here, like this dude. And this is her a little mate. This is Bam Bam. Yeah, he's about 7 pounds right now. He's going to be a big boy.
And bring him a little closer to the camera so folks can. Oh my God! Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, so he's brindle. He's what we call brindle for color. She's actually reverse brindle. He's a regular brindle, and then Daphne, she's an apricot, like Fred was.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have 20 of these monsters. I have the other litter. You're a little bit dirty from eating. She's the best mom. She is the absolute best mom. She's such a good mom.
This is on. These is. Oh my God, Brian.
Yeah. The pedigree in these guys is absolutely incredible.
What's that about? So tell me about that.
What's pedigree?
Well, yeah, it's just all about it. I mean, you take this very seriously.
This is not backyard breeding. This is not puppy mill time. This is serious breeding.
You're a professional breeder.
Yes, well, aspiring. I'm getting there. My mentor is like the number one in the world for Mastiffs right now. We actually had the conversation the other day. Suzanne Everett, she's Beowulf Mastiffs Global, and when we were talking the other day about where puppies go, she was just chuckling about how she's getting so many calls from Japan and Argentina for her dogs.
What's her organization called?
It's Beowulf. Remember, like the book Beowulf Mastiffs.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You can. Oh, you're gonna get Wilma. There you go. Wilma's all yours. So Raylene has Wilma. There you go. She's shedding a bit, but she's gonna love you. She's gonna lean. And if you stop patting her, she's going to lean more. So just so you know. So you have an elbow rest. Now, can you get her on camera here and see how she's getting abused?
Yeah, well, let me figure it out here.
Okay.
But my God, look at that.
Yeah, so anyhow, so
how much is Wilma weigh?
Wilma's not, I don't know, because when she went in for her C-section at Onion River, and they were amazing. They rocked. Onion River rocked. And we went in, here we go. We went in, so they did an ultrasound, and when we did the ultrasound, the vet, we went to Broadview Reproductive Clinic down in Dover, New Hampshire, because we did what we call transcervical insemination on the dogs, because I didn't have a stud because Fred had passed. So Suzanne, my mentor, she flew up what we needed of 2 males via FedEx, and we did what we call transcervical insemination, and I got to watch it, and it's really cool. Like, it's a really cool procedure to watch. And he got right into the cervix, this specialist did, and did his thing. And so anyhow, we went for an ultrasound. We confirmed they were pregnant, and we guessed, she said, I think she has 5. She's so thick, I can see at least 5. I'm like, okay. And Josie, she's so thick, but I can see at least 7. Well, yes. But it turned out she could only see 1 horn. So, and when we went in for C-section, because you do C-sections with this, and the reason you do C-sections on Mastiff is they have a tendency to do what we call the double inertia. So inertia is when, say she has 5 puppies, and she has 12 and her 6 puppies. She's done. I'm done with it. And she shuts down, and then 24 hours later, 36 hours later, you find dead puppies, an infection, and the whole bit. And so that's why we do that. And Josie actually, when Josie had her surgery the following Saturday, I brought her in. We did a progesterone test on her, take a blood test, check the progesterone level, and depending on where it is, it tells you when they're going to have their babies, when they're going to go into labor. Right. We wanted to do a C-section prior to. We want to catch that before she starts whelping, and we did. I did the blood work on Saturday morning, expecting her to have a C-section on either Sunday or Monday, and the vet came back in the room and said, "We're doing this in 2 hours." Yeah. Okay, so get this. So not only did that happen, but the dryer had died that morning.
At your house?
In my house. My dryer had died, and I already had 11 puppies on the ground. My dryer died. So I went to, I brought Josie. I went home, checked on Wilma, the sitter. ordered a sandwich on the way back in, have the box with the heating pads and everything for the puppies, expecting to do it Monday, here's Saturday. Went in, and same thing with Wilma. Wilma were expecting 5. They kept pulling them out, and here's 11. Karen Bradley now, Dr. Bradley, she did a phenomenal job. Here she is on Saturday. We're thinking there's 7, and then there's 8, then there's 9, then there's 10, then there's 11, and then she finally got the last one out, 12. And it was 12 that, and unfortunately one didn't make it. She had been born outside the placenta. She lasted for a couple of days, but then she passed, unfortunately. But that was, so I ended up with, I had 23 on the ground to begin with, but 20 very healthy puppies at home now, or 18, 2 here. And so it's been, and I got to bottle feed them all, because the Mastiffs, being Mastiffs, because they grow so quickly, and mom can only feed X amount, being so many, you have to top them all off. So since November 2nd, the pups been eating every 3.5 hours, but then I have to bottle feed 20 of them. Check that out. Look at that from the Mastiffs. Then when puppies grab on you, and they
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. And those are 4 or 5 days. I haven't bottle fed in several days.
And are they nursing off of Wilma too?
And then you bottle feed them after, and to give you how much. So 20 puppies. I have formula for them. It's called Puppy Back, and it's 1 scoop to 2 ounces of water.
Yeah.
And the Puppy Back comes in 8-pound containers.
Yeah.
I'm through my 2nd container into my 3rd in 4.5 weeks. So I'm at 18 pounds of formula for the puppies that I've bottle fed. So I don't know how gallons that has been. So now they're on what we call gruel. So we started no more bottle feeding, weaning them off of moms, starting that. Now they're on what we call gruel, which is nothing more than ground kibble, a little bit of formula, some warm water, let it soften up, and you feed it that way. And that's how you start them on their...
Wilma's fine. Wilma's over here giving me some love now. But, so Raylene just sent me a note saying that she's got the rest of the day wide open to help bottle feed the 20.
No, we're done bottle feeding. She missed that.
Oh,
one.
You missed that.
You missed that. The 2:30, the 3 o'clock bottle feedings.
Well, tomorrow works too.
That's AM, by the way. So it's
that's AM.
That's AM, because remember, think about it. It's every 3.5 hours you're doing this in the beginning, 4 hours. It does not matter time of day.
So that's why you're on shit for sleep.
Yes, because I've been sleeping on the couch since November 2nd, and maybe 2.5, 3 hours sleep at a time.
At a time. On the couch. Right there next to mom.
In between the 2 litters. I get 2 litters upstairs in my living room, and 2 8x8 pens. They're separated, but I mean, how else do you think? How do you do it? You set it up. I'm doing a lot of laundry. So I did end up I had somebody babysit the dog, ran to Home Depot, grabbed all the local guys. You were closed. It was Sunday. Sorry, Saturday afternoon, Sunday. You were closed. I had to get it, so I had to run to Home Depot. I looked at all the place local. You're all closed. So I did have to. I had to go to Home Depot and grab one. And, So now I can do laundry, because I'm doing 8-10 loads of laundry a day with 20 puppies. I mean, there's a lot of puppy poop there.
I bet.
And I'm potty training. We can potty train. Start to potty train them. You have a little box that we put out that I have pellets in, it's compressed wood pellets, and you put a towel down, and you get them close. You can't expect them to go in it, but they get close, so they kind of keep it contained. But I'm doing a lot of laundry. I'm changing, linens constantly. I've got to gruel feed them every couple hours.
If you're just tuning in, Brian Carten, who breeds these beautiful English Mastiffs, and he's got 2 of the 20 babies that were born 4.5 weeks ago. And if you missed earlier showing the puppies on camera, we will do it again. We're going to do it right now?
Sure, I'm going to hold them.
All right.
It's not a bad thing to hold puppies.
Wow. So are they available?
Yes, I do have puppies available. They're going quick. I do, we do check on, you sign a contract. You do sign I'm a responsible breeder. My puppies, the parents are what we call OFA certified, so Orthopedic Foundation of Animals. So her hips, her elbows, her heart, all that has been checked before you do a breeding, and then we DNA check them because there's several things that any breed can be susceptible to.
Sure.
So the things that the Mastiffs are susceptible to, we DNA them. So these lines have been DNA'd, so they're clear of those possible problems.
Wow. That's got to be a little pricey to do all that.
That's why I'm not a backyard breeder. If God forbid you lose your job 10 years from now and you've bought a puppy from me, your puppy's not going to the shelter. It's coming back to me. And
that's part of the contract.
That's part of the contract. It's in there. You sign that. I don't want my dogs used for breeding. They are AKC registered, but you're not going to get your registration until my dog's neutered. But I don't want it neutered, a male, until he's 18 to 24 months because you have to get the dog to its proper size. It needs those hormones.
Sure.
It needs that stuff. Same with the girls. We like to do approximately the third heat, just to make sure they're full grown. They've got everything that they need.
Is there a bark when someone comes to the door from Wilma, or?
Oh, they have a good bark.
It is a good bark.
It's a good bark. Yeah, but they're not
it's
a good bark. Look at that. Oh, that's a yawn. That was a yawn.
Lily.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Oh, is Lily watching this?
No, she's in school right now. Thank goodness.
Maybe she'll see the taping.
She will.
Lily, this one is Bam Bam. He's spoken for. I'm sorry, but
oh my God.
Yeah, so you can see he's a brindle. He's a big boy.
Now, at what point we're 4.5 weeks in? Will you not be able to lift Bam Bam like this?
Oh God, he'll only be when he's 8 weeks at this rate, he'll be low to mid 20s. Yeah, and the girls will be. She's a big girl, so I expect her to be like 18 pounds at 8 weeks.
In just 8 weeks.
Yeah. The big ones out of this last litter were 1 pound 8 ounces and 1 pound 9 ounces at birth.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they do lose a bit of size. They're born at that weight. They drop a bit and then they start coming up. But once these guys take off, they're 4 to 5 pounds a week of growth.
4 to 5 pounds per week
on a good sized male. Yeah,
and they'll plateau out right around 200.
Shaman, the stud, he's 230ish. He'll be 230ish at. Yeah, you don't know. I expect him to be. He'll be. He's the biggest. He's very heavy boned, as you can see, which we want. He's just massive. He's just very thick.
Look at Raylene. Look at this. Look at his face.
I know.
I mean,
but yeah, he'll be in the 2+ range, but you don't know till they're done. They go, the big dudes at 265, 270 for a big Mastiff.
Is Mom protective?
Mom is look at her. She's Wilma.
Yeah.
The phenomenal dogs. They're exceptional with children. Like they fall. They tend to gravitate a lot towards the youngest in the house. So it's always the kids that they're, they love everybody in the house, happy to see, but they're definitely happy to see the kids, it seems, or the wives. The wives, the kids more than the husbands.
And that's their disposition. That's just an English Mastiff. Oh, he's got the other one here. Oh boy,
Daphne. Daphne was she was crying. This one here, what a mouth on her when we started. Oh my goodness, yeah. Like the bottle feeding and everything. She was just like right there, demanding. She was
amazing.
Yeah. She's a good girl. She's an absolute sweetheart.
They know that you're close by on the couch all the time.
Yeah. I'm bottle feeding them. They can see me. The eyes open up at 2 weeks. Right on the 2 week mark.
Do they know that Wilma is Mom, or do they think you are Mom?
They know Wilma. But she, at this point, she's really like, I'm done with you. You've got teeth.
Yeah.
You're 4.5 weeks old. Move on. It's time to, baby food time is definitive.
Yeah, I'm sure.
She likes to go in the pan and clean up the gruel. she'll go in for that. But she's phenomenal with the puppies. Like as far as keeping them clean and taking care of them, she's right there, just licking them and keeping them clean. She's a really, really good mom.
This is in your career as a breeder and through your life here. This is a huge chapter right now.
This is fun though. This is so much fun. Like this is, you know what I mean? This is it's a love. You know what I mean? I think about this. Yes, I'm exhausted, but I get to hang out with 20. I got to clean them. I'm covered. You know, I'm dirty.
Yeah,
I'm tired, but it's incredibly gratifying.
You really love this.
This is cool, and I know that I'm going to be doing therapy dog work with dogs that I've bred, you know, raised from day one.
And Daphne's the one.
This is Daphne. So
you're hoping Daphne's going to be therapy.
I hope they all can be. I want to get them in the show ring, but if I get and I'm keeping 2 others actually from the other litter, from Josie's litter. I'm going to keep Pebbles. Got to have a Pebbles. If I got Bam Bam, I got to have a Pebbles. And I haven't had a name picked yet for the other boy, but we stay within that realm of, you know, of Fred, Wilma.
Daphne looks like she's just taken a hit from one of those funny white twisted cigarettes.
Oh, when these dogs, you know what the hilarious part is?
Show her on the camera.
Like when you pull them off mama when they just get done feeding and they're like milk drunk and they literally fall over and pass out and their legs are up in the air and all you can see is just this big belly and full legs. It's adorable. And the cool part is you get to see a change every single day in them. You know, now they're just beginning to play with each other. The other day they just, you know, and they're not, they fall over each other. You know, they try and play and they kind of roll on top of each other is what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a sweetheart. They're all sweethearts. They're all just a lot of fun to be around. It's a lot, like I said, it's a lot of work. But it's so worth it.
Got a comment here. My son is scared of dogs. When he sees one, he just starts sprinting away from the dog. Never been attacked or had a bad experience. I've tried several times to get him acquainted with my neighbor's dog with no success. What do you think I should do? I want him to be comfortable around larger pets and learn how to be around dogs. Should we get a puppy and make it happen?
I was just going to say, maybe this is, you know, the innocent. This is about as innocent as you can get right here. I was just going to say the puppy. Are you ready for a dog? That's the question.
Right.
Are you ready for a dog?
Because there's a massive amount of responsibility.
It's a family member. It's a family member. If you're not going to treat a dog as a family member, don't get it.
Right.
Don't get it. If you're going to chain your dog out in the backyard, don't get it. Yeah. If you're gonna get and do your research, please, people, do your research. If you're gonna get a healer, if you're gonna get an Aussie, don't complain when all he does is run in circles and bark at people. It's what he's trained to do is hurting. You know,
exactly.
if you get a Vizsla, if you get these bird dogs, they're phenomenal dogs. But just remember what they're bred for.
Yeah,
they're
right.
bred to hunt.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So you know. These guys were actually bred. They were originally war dogs, and then they became castles with the kings guarding the castles, and they've moved into. They're a work breed. Mastiffs actually were still on the front lines of World War I pulling ammo carts.
Are you kidding me?
They're a work breed. Yeah, they pull carts. These guys are great pulling carts. I don't have a cart. I am going to get into it at some point, you know, because I went in my spare time.
Wilma.
Hey, Wilma.
What
are you doing, Mama? You're such a good girl.
It's incredible to see these dogs.
Yeah, this is really cool. They're it's fun to hang out with puppies. It really is. Especially, you know, dogs that I know them, you know. I mean, I spend it literally hours with them every day, and it's just fun. But wow. I know I'm going to
4.5 weeks old.
Yeah. So future therapy dogs, and we can't start them till they're 1. When they're 1, we can test them.
And with therapy dogs, Vermont, you got to go get a little bit of. You got to get checked out. You get some basic training, and they need to, you know, they need to make sure. The dog can handle loud, sudden crashes and noises and movement and not be alarmed.
Correct.
And the way they react to things is critical.
It is. That's exactly what the test is. They're checked for reaction on a number of different circumstances, and because when you go into a facility, you go into a nursing home, even especially now, everybody's got a mask on. You have the machines that are kicking on in the background, the oxygen machines, etc.
Yeah.
Wheelchairs, walkers,
screaming,
a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So the dog really has to be used to group hugs.
Yeah, great. A lot of kids, or people touching.
So
there's a
lot that they put you through in the test. You can actually, before the test, if you can sign up for a clinic prior to the test with Therapy Dogs of Vermont. And unfortunately, I'm a bit out of the loop. I'm not on the board of directors. I did my 6 years.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm allowed to do. So I did 6 years on the board of directors, lost my 2 pups. So I'm a bit withdrawn from it at the moment, if you will. But I will be back, and I want to get more involved, I think, in the testing. In that side of it as well.
What's the most profound memory if you were to write a book? What's the most?
You know what? I wish I had written down stuff from the beginning on this, but that's not my goal. You know what I mean? That's not why I'm here. That's not why I do it. It's to write a book.
Is there something that
oh God, there's so many of them. So many of them.
Tell me one. Do share.
All right, Judson. I remember we used to visit this woman quite a bit at Woodridge, and then her health had been declining. Didn't see her for a couple of weeks, and we were walking by the room, and her daughter came out and told us that she had been unconscious for several days, and would we come in and see her? And she was convinced that her mom was waiting to see Judson one last time before she passed. So we went in the room, and Judson, walked in the room. Judson went over like he always did. The room was filled with family members, and he put his head on the bed next to her as he always did. She could feel his breath. They took her hand, they put it on top of his head. He did his visit, and within a half hour of him leaving the room, she passed. So was she waiting to say goodbye to Judson? A very good chance, but yeah. I've seen all kinds of things. I've, been in the hospital and watched the people reach for there was one woman, she was amazing. The first time we met her, she was in her 90s, and she was reaching for the dog, Judson, like, I want to see you. And the nurse was saying, easy, your blood pressure, honey. And then the nurse said, is going down, and was watching her blood pressure go down as this 90-something-year-old woman is getting excited and going after the dog. Her blood pressure was going down, not up, as they thought it should go up. You know what I mean? Wow. Just being excited. So, so to witness certain things, I remember we were outside we can't go in the ICU. They brought this gentleman out of the ICU, and I had Judson, and as soon as he saw him, this guy was in the ICU. He like flopped on the ground and was hugging the dog, and I'm like, oh, people came out, and they're like ready to grab me. He's like, no, I'm good. And he just was on the floor hugging the dog, but he had been in the ICU, and he came out and was just, so, you see it. You see it with the kids. You see it with, I could go on and on and on. There's just, it's, I've been in parking lots, walking through a parking lot, going to PetSmart or whatever, going to and people stop their vehicles and get out and run over and hug the dog because they had met the dog in the hospital. So yeah. Wow. So you see a lot of things that a lot of experiences that you just would not. So that side of it's cool. I get to experience some really interesting stuff. I see the side of a lot of people that no one else ever sees.
That we can't tap into.
But you can't tap into. But the mental health side of it now, they've really, Judson or Fred have really jumped into doing a lot of stuff. Fred actually was working at our house, before the pandemic, working with the kids, and some ungodly stuff. But the work he was doing over there, Fred was the first therapy dog in the Washington County Sexual Assault Crisis Response Team.
And the kids, man, let's be honest with you. when a dog like this comes into the room or comes to where they are,
Oh, they love it.
they
gravitate towards them.
They neutral out and forget about all of the crap
They do.
that is almost constantly running through their minds, and they forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
It's not a kind world. It's not a kind.
No.
It's much unkinder less kind than it used to be.
And the same thing for an elderly person in a nursing home. I mean, both of my parents are both testament to that. Judson's been with both of them. They literally stop thinking about whatever it is that is on their mind, whether it's loneliness, whether it's pain, no matter what it is.
And on the flip side of that, I've seen Alzheimer's. I've been, visiting with Alzheimer's patients, and the family will say that's the first smile they've seen in a year and a half.
It literally, it biologically, chemically alters something in our brain and awakens something that medically we haven't been able to tap into.
No, and this didn't happen to me, but here's a story. And this was Steve, the founder of Therapy Dogs Vermont. He was actually working with, he had German Shepherds. He was up at UVM Medical Center when they first started, and he was visiting with a family and a child. Child was in a coma. Dog got up on the bed, and they put the kid's hand on the dog, and the kid's hand started to move, and the child came out of the coma while the dog was on the bed. And if that doesn't rock your world, so...
Dude, when's the book coming out? Come on. I mean, it's got to...
Find me a writer. Got to get a writer, But no. It's all up here. It's just, those experiences are just, but you see it day in and day out, like working with the kids, in the schools after the accidents and whatnot. It's just so gratifying. It's just to watch the human-animal interaction that, especially on that level, be it palliative care, you walk into the palliative care room, somebody's passing, everybody's, you walk into that situation, everybody's hushed. It's a drag, It's
sure.
Like,
have you been in
but that being said, you walk in there with a dog.
Yeah.
And by the time with its laughter and people smile and people are happy, Yeah. And it's a solemn, but embrace the good in it, And if that person, especially that person like dogs, they start talking about the dogs in the family, start talking about this and that. And it breaks the mood, the monotony of the room, if you will, by bringing an animal in a way that a human can't. I mean, even when we were at Harvard, they did a survey at the end, and they asked at the end it's still going on, but when after a year or so they did a survey with all the kids on what was the best therapy, if you will, from that crisis, and they had us, they had ministers, they had mental health experts, they had massage, they had painting, they had clay making, they had everything. 89% picked the dogs. So I'm guessing the 1 out of 10 probably doesn't like dogs. You know what I mean? Wow. People don't like dogs. There's people that just don't like dogs. It's just,
Have you been in any pediatric units?
CVH doesn't have one. They have some kids, so that's pretty much a no. Ta-Kum-Ta. I was getting into Burlington, but then COVID hit and all that. So not a lot, but I've worked with, and that would be fun.
Have you thought about like St. Jude or traveling somewhere?
Therapy Dogs Vermont is actually certified in every state. The demand at home?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's you.
That's me. And
demand at home is keeping you from traveling and doing something like that. But I can only imagine.
And I don't, a lot of those facilities, I don't even know if they allow them in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to check. But that it's and for me, they've shut down the airlines for the service dogs.
Yeah.
But Therapy Dog, I'm different. I have to get a medical note from the other end, and then we're allowed to travel.
Yeah.
So it's a different.
Sure.
It's a different boat. I can't use her for, I have anxiety or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Those folks, unfortunately, I think a lot of people abuse that, but I think a lot of people are, unfortunately, because it's being abused, can't do it anymore. Those who really need it, I mean,
You mean
go into Walmart, you go into a store and you see the person with their no, you want to bring your dog with you, and it's not cool that you can do that and the rest of the world doesn't, but the rest of the world isn't abusing and lying and saying that it's something that it's not.
We're seeing that more now than ever.
And it should be cracked down on, like I said, therapy dog.
Well,
training.
You can get online and get and buy yourself a certified therapy dog vest. I mean,
it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and it gives those of us who do it a bad name because I know how my dog's going to react in a courtroom.
Yeah.
I know how my dog's going to react in an emergency room.
Yeah.
You don't, because your dog hasn't been put through that. And when we test the dogs, we test them. I mean,
there was a guy years ago who had a therapy iguana that was making national news, and then there was another guy, or maybe a lady, several years ago who had a therapy alligator, and was trying to board a plane.
But that's so yeah. I've seen it. The rats, the monkeys, the whole bit. Therapy cats.
Yeah.
If you need an animal for mental health issues, you have an animal for mental health issues,
of course.
But don't expect you can take an alligator on a plane. I can't, like I said,
or a chicken.
But here we go. The
or
flip
a snake. No snakes.
And the flip side, Wilma. I mean, here she is. She's cool, calm, and collective. But I'm not gonna. We discussed this. She's too powerful to be a therapy dog.
Yeah,
I know that. So as much as she's as good of a dog as she is, as quiet as she is here, as much as she is loving, she's not going to bite. She's not going to be aggressive. I know just her physical, the way she moves people with her stature, her body.
Well, when you showed up at the studio this morning, she came up to me and I was giving her some love, and she started leaning into me and pressing into me, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. So I know I can't bring that into a hospital. I know I'm not going to attempt to get her certified and put somebody's health at risk because she'll move a wheelchair.
Yeah,
she could actually do damage.
Yeah.
To somebody with brittle legs, brittle bones. She could snap.
So there's a lot of things that need to be a lot of boxes that need to be checked when it comes to getting
and it's
certified.
Not just my dog's a nice dog.
Yes,
it's not.
It's beyond that.
It's so much beyond that. How's your dog when people bang on the door at home? How's your dog when I mean,
I want to know if Brian Carten has ever been for a walk out in the woods or a hike or in the park or somewhere, sidewalk, where one of your dogs has seen a squirrel or something else and decided to drag your ass down the ground.
I did get pulled down several weeks ago. My fault, 100%. I had 2 girls. This is prior to the puppies being born. And I had them on one leash, and I have a split lead. No, and it was my fault. I wasn't paying attention. The dog was behind us.
2 on 1 leash. What's the horsepower on
that? It was 350 pounds or something. So, but I wasn't paying attention, and somebody came up behind me without letting me. Can my dog meet yours? Type thing, which is don't do that, people.
Yeah.
As a human being. Do you take your child and say, can my kid meet you, and force him into that situation? It's an animal. You don't do that. Can my dog meet your dog, especially on a, what are the 30-foot leads there that are dangerous to everybody?
Yes.
Don't do that. Don't say, can my dog meet your dog? I don't know that my dog wants to meet your dog, and if my dog decides he doesn't, then we've got a serious issue on our hands.
Yeah, right.
And so let's treat everybody like the humans on that,
So you got dragged down?
She pulled me down. Yeah, I didn't either. My fault. I had the wrong shoes on as well. So no, it was my fault. I accept responsibility. I should have had the eyes in the back of my head, and just with 2 of them, I should have just been looking around. We're in a public situation, So, but it happened. So they did take me down. Did they get away from me? No. Did they drag me? Only I hit the ground and I had them under control.
Yeah.
So, but they did get me off my feet for a sec. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're doing this all by yourself in your house with
the 20 pups. Yeah,
20
you know what I had?
puppies.
I actually did have a little bit of help in the beginning, and then I lost the 3 puppies.
Yeah.
And I actually sent one out for necropsy, and just to make sure that it was nothing from the outside, I did not know, but I had to just shut it down.
Sure.
So I've been doing it by myself, and it's not bad. It's not. I mean, you're tired. What's hard work? I was 35 years at UPS. I was a Marine. What's hard work? You know what I mean? This isn't hard work. That's, this is, so it's a lot of redundancy. It's a lot of laundry. It's a lot of feeding. It's a lot of, it's redundancy, but it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And you're over in the
I'm in
Mad
Warren.
River.
In Warren. Mad River Mastiffs is actually the kennel name.
Mad River Mastiffs.
Yeah, we're on Facebook. Yeah,
you're on
puppy pictures on Facebook.
All right. And where do you work?
I'm on pupternity leave right now. So I work I have pupternity leave. I work at Mad River Distillers part-time over in the Valley. We're in Warren. We do our distilling in Warren. We do our bottling, labeling, packaging in Waitsfield. And I'm on that end of it.
And they understand.
They knew that going in. Yeah.
This is
my gig. Al and Mimi, they're great. Yeah, the Egan's, they're good people. But they knew it when they hired me. I said they knew I had Mastiffs. They knew I'd done the therapy dog work. And so the deal was if I have litters, and we didn't know we were going to have 20 puppies on the ground. But so they come over. The owners come, the people I work with, they'll come over, and once we can start and have visitors here next few days, and
that is so
it's
cool.
fun. It is fun. Yeah, and it's nice be able to have people come in because I'm doing the cleaning, and everything. So honestly, I don't have a lot of time to just hang out with a puppy.
Yeah, right.
I had to get here. I had to make sure the gruel was filled, the water was filled, all the linens were done prior to. And when I go home, I'm going to strip everything out and feed them again.
Well, we're gonna cut you loose, but man, I got to tell you, you're doing some great work.
Yeah, it's fun. This is fun. Thank you. I'm really like Bam Bam, Daphne, Pebbles, whoever the other male is. I'm going to, hopefully I can get them all working as therapy dogs. I won't know the personality. I won't know them until they're grown up, but you give it a shot. You can hope. So there again, if you want to buy a puppy with the thinking it's going to be a therapy dog, you don't know that. The dog makes that decision.
Yes.
You can't force a dog. It's no different than a service dog, a seeing eye dog. The dog has to enjoy the work. Because if he doesn't enjoy the work, he's not going to be good. It's not going to be productive.
Exactly.
And it takes a special dog, a certain dog, not a special dog, a certain dog. All dogs are special, but it takes a certain dog to do it. But we're at Mad River Mastiffs. There are pups available. They're going quick.
Can we show one more time here?
We'll pick them up.
One more puppy shot here. If you're listening to the show, this is when you're going to want to look.
They're actually getting bigger. As we're
oh my God! As we're talking.
Yeah. The cool. Honestly, you talk to Mastiff people. And when they get from the 3 month, the 8 week into the year stage, you literally leave the room.
Yeah.
And you come back and you're like, really?
Oh, I'm sure.
You go to work, you come home, and if they're growing 3-4 pounds a week, that's ½ pound a day. Plus they grow in front of your eyes.
Oh,
we
got a yawn. Oh yeah. Brian Carten, thanks, man.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thanks for coming in here. You're doing great stuff, man.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Look at that. And what's this guy's name again?
This is Bam Bam.
That's Bam Bam.
Yep. And that's Daphne is in the. I'm gonna pick Daphne up again.
Wow. This is Daphne coming out right now.
Yeah, she's apricot. She's a nice dark apricot.
Look at that.
Yeah, she's beautiful mask. Heavy bone dogs, the Mastiff, they're very, very much typey, if you will.
That's incredible.
The pedigree on these guys is ridiculous. Wilma's great grandmother is is Malibu, and she actually won the national specialty 3 years in a row. So then, her grandmother won it once. Yeah, they've got some ridiculous pedigree here. Fred was grand champion. These dogs will all be in the show ring.
They will.
Who knows? Maybe you'll see Bam Bam at Westminster. Fred went to Westminster twice. You might see Bam Bam at Westminster
serious?
or Daphne. Yeah, Fred went to Westminster twice. Yeah, he was a grand champion. Fred had, 13 best of breed ribbons, 14 best of breed ribbons. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
You're doing great work, man. I always love chatting with you. And
Yeah, it's fun. Dogs are cool. Dogs are, and you know what? Pay it forward.
You come back here anytime, my man. And
Yeah.
if there's anything, we're going to watch your Facebook page, Mad River Mastiffs. We want to see these guys grow. And
Yeah, I do post pictures every couple days. I got to do it more often. Just as
get some sleep, dude.
You got to get and I'm doing it by myself. So when people come over, I'm gonna have them like help me do some good pictures. But they're at 5 weeks. They go from the adorable newborn, and then once they get on the gruel, they go into like a little bit of an ugly stage because they're fat and dirty.
Right. Yeah.
So
we just got a question here. Is there a Barney?
Barney may be the other boy.
Okay.
Barney may be. I'm leaning towards Barney. So yeah, because there was Fred, Wilma. I haven't had Betty yet. So, but I have Daphne and Pebbles, and but yeah, I think Barney's going to be the other boy.
Unbelievable. Thanks, Brian.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for coming in here. My God, this is incredible. I'm going to go get myself some puppy love right now. Hey, thank you so much to our sponsors that bring you this podcast. Live from North Main Street in Barrie, the home of Retirement, Vermont, at retirementvt.com. At 185 North Main Street. Green Mountain Mulch, Infecto Homes, Salvador and Babbitt in the Central Vermont Chamber of Commerce. You've got the list right there in front of you. Barrie Area Development, FGB Theaters, and Gusto's, just down the road. What's that now?
For Jeannie Gauze on 55th birthday today.
Oh, really?
Yes, happy birthday, Gene.
No way.
Yeah. Speaking of Gusto's, guys, I bartended at Gusto's for a while.
You did?
Yeah,
How
back
old?
in the day.
How old?
God, when Gary took it over, when Gary started,
how old is Gene?
55.
55?
Yeah,
Today?
Today.
Oh, my God. CW Creative, Vermont Custom Woodworking, ASB Financial, the Barrie Montpelier Times-Argus, Donnybrook Fight Promotion. We've got your tickets right here for the Battle in Barrie 6, February 19th at the Barrie Auditorium. They're $40. Come on by the studios, and we'll get you a couple of tickets when we're here. Just let us know you're coming. All right? Wright Electric and Wood Doodles. They've got their beautiful cutting boards and serving trays on display right here at the studio. 20%, aren't they amazing, Brian?
Beautiful.
20% discount until the 20th of this month. And if you want to get something customized on it, it's 10% off until the 5th. So you got 2 more days for that. But, yeah, we love having Wood Doodles on board with us. Gothier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance, and Preston's Kia, Granite City MMA, and Barslow Construction, our proud sponsors of the Aired Out podcast. Be well, everybody. We'll catch you again real soon. Thanks for catching Aired Out.